So why would someone be able to call you down the scale? Why would you feel frustration? Frustration's not far down. It's not even halfway down. It's at 10. Why would someone be able to get your goat? It's because you do have some of that vibration still stuck in your vibrational craw. And this person is giving you the gift of being somewhere around something below that, usually quite a bit below that in the example that you're giving. If someone's not owning up to something, if they're faking something, if they're pretending something, if they're lying to you, if they are deceiving deliberately, or sometimes even deceiving indeliberately, they are in insecurity. They're way down the emotional scale. Well, you didn't go all the way. You didn't say, why is it that I feel insecure when I'm around someone who's not owning it? You said, I feel frustration. That's good for you. It's a good sign for you. But the fact that you feel frustration means you have some opportunities to clean up some vibrations, yes? So, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we wouldn't go all the way to insecurity, which is where your friend is, not right now. We would start with frustration. I am frustrated when people who are close to me are refusing to look at their behaviors. So let's start at frustration. I'm frustrated that they refuse to look. Pessimistic is the next notch up. I doubt they ever will. I've been teaching them for long enough. It's not likely that they're going to make it. We know this doesn't sound like it's positive work, but it is. It is. Boredom's the next step up. I am bored with people who are not even making an effort. I'm bored. I'm bored with this. I'd like to just let it all go. I'm tired of fussing around with this. There's nothing serious going on. I'm bored. Even if you don't think the words took you there, a sentence or two will improve it. You don't have to stay there till you feel improvement. Just stay there for a sentence or two and move up. Next emotion up is contentment. I like that I'm aware of my emotions. And I like that I am owning my emotions more. And I like that everybody else doesn't have to do it in order for me to feel better. Move up. Hopeful. I'm hopeful that as I am learning about emotions and I'm finding more replenishment, that others who hang around with me, even those whom I'm teaching, will find it too. Move up a notch. Optimism. I know they can do it. Took me a while. Takes everybody a while. We're all in different places, having different experiences. I don't know how life is touching them, but I know that they want to feel better. And I know that their inner being is calling them upward. And I believe that their association with me in combination with their inner being, who's always calling them upward, is going to help them. I have absolute expectation, not up a notch, positive expectation and belief. I believe they can do this. I have every reason to expect that they're going to find that. Enthusiasm. This is so much fun. I have loved knowing it myself. I love it every time I do it. Eagerness, happiness is right there in that same place. I am passionate, next notch up, passionate about my discovery of how to maintain my vibrational balance. Move up a notch. I love knowing this. I'm joyful in knowing this. I feel enthusiasm and absolute empowerment, freedom. I am free. I love my life. I love knowing this. I have such appreciation for this knowledge and for my life and for them helping me to know that I had some residual stuff about frustration going on. You see how it works? This person went on. I'm getting really frustrated when people are close to me. You heard all of that. Then further down in, I ultimately end up taking the blame for not believing them or trusting them. Now, we didn't go there first because we just want to point out that you are a high-flying person. But there's still, like with everyone, you have subjects that will activate different emotions along your emotional scale. You don't have to clean everything up all the time. But if you are cognizant, if you're aware, if you want to feel good and therefore are aware when you don't, and you're willing to identify or isolate where you stand on this emotional scale, and you're willing to take yourself up, then in the very first realization that you offered to us, frustration, you could start at a higher place and work up the scale, and before you know it, frustration would be a thing of the past with you. As you took it further, not doing that work, it's just fine, you didn't really know about it, and tried to defend maybe while you're frustrated, then you got into blame, which was much further down on the scale. You're blaming yourself, which is even further down on the scale, because that's guilt for not believing them or not trusting them. Sort of getting the hang of this. There's no right or wrong in this. And no subject or issue is always every single time at the same place on an emotional scale. Esther's been really having a good time with this and taking a few subjects and working her way. She says, I'm going to go do she does this. She doesn't even want to say the words. She says it to herself, I think I'll go do some of this. And she means move up the emotional scale. So she'd moved up the emotional scale on a subject that had been perplexing her, bothering her, tormenting her for years. And then she had a conversation with someone close to her, someone she adores, someone that she has vented to about this subject on many occasions. And as Esther, she was all excited about where she was on this subject, and she wanted to say to this person she adores, this is where I now am. And as she opened not the emotion, but the subject, this person remembered her where she had most often been. And Esther was first alerted, alarmed, then amazed, surprised, then enlivened when she realized, oh, this is why Abraham doesn't want us to talk about subjects. Because as you do the emotional work, when you approach a subject with other people, they're going to remember you where you used to be because they haven't been rumping up the scale with you. They don't know where you are. They remember where you were. That's why when you go home, you act like you used to act when you used to live at home with them. Because they remember you one way even though you've changed. And when they remember you the way you were, if there's any residual of that left within you, which there always is some residual if you haven't deliberately assigned yourself to emotion and made sure that you have momentum there. Is this making some sense to you? It makes a lot of sense to Esther these days. It made her decide, why ever bring anything up to anybody I've ever talked to before about anything that has ever bothered me before? She still does it, but when she does, then she has to experience the vibrational hit that they take as they activate where she used to be. You can't ask people to expect to stay up to speed with you. Leave everybody else out of the equation. Think how freeing that is when you no longer need others to understand you. That's usually the reason that Esther would explain. Well, I need to give you the backstory. I need to tell you the whole thing. Remember when I used to feel this way? Well, I don't feel that way anymore. But just remember when I used to feel that way? They remember. They remember. And then that's where they are when they're thinking about you about that, you see. We think this is a helpful conversation. We can feel light bulbs going off all over the planet as you are understanding why you've been getting unwanted responses from so many people who are well-meaning, who are just matching you. Remember, it's attraction, attraction, attraction. You're attracting from them and they're attracting from you. You just want to be dominant in your point of attraction before you rendezvous with them. So they can't get anything yucky from you because it's not active. And if they are going to get something from you, it's going to feel good to them when they get it. And if they're not up to speed with the good stuff you got going, law of attraction is not even going to bring you together when you're consistently there. Does that mean all the people in my life are going to go away? It means you're going to get what you want from more of them. And those who are really immovable, emotional objects, they will vibrate out of your experience. You've been hearing us say this to you for as long as Esther's mouth has been moving for us. One of two things will happen as you move up the emotional scale, up the vibrational, emotional guidance scale. If you have something going on with someone and you deliberately move up the emotional scale, Either they'll join you up there in that good feeling stuff, or they'll go away. The question is, what are you doing? Who's dominant when you came together? You haven't been meditating? Which is something else we really want to talk about. Many of you said, we want to talk about it because you want to talk about it. Many of you were wondering about contentment and where it is on the emotional scale. It's here, it's number 7, it's closer to the top. And you were asking, why are there more negative emotions, negative feeling emotions than there are positive? And we want to say to you, we don't see it that way. We see it as replenishment, and then less and less and less and less and less replenishment. In other words, degrees of you allowing yourself to be who you are. Because any improvement, any better feeling, even if it's moving up from 22 to 21, is relief, and therefore a very wonderful thing. Don't judge yourself by where you are at any point in time on the emotional scale. Just understand that your guidance system is working, and allow yourself to relax and move up the scale. So contentment, we want to talk about that just for a moment. Contentment is that feeling of not pushing against anything. We would say that's right where meditation puts you. In other words, meditation is the process. If you read Ask and It Is Given and all the 22 processes that are in that book, if you read about meditation, you'll see that we recommend meditation no matter where you find yourself on the emotional scale. And here's why. When you quiet your mind, you stop the vibration. And when you stop the vibration of that, when you distract yourself from that lower vibration, you will rise to a higher vibration. So meditation quiets all of that and moves you to contentment. So if you were feeling really good, would we encourage you to move up the emotional scale all the way from the bottom? No. That's going down the emotional scale. If you are, after you've meditated, would we encourage you to focus on things you want? Yes. That will take you up the emotional scale. The difference between contentment and everything above it is the momentum factor. If you're feeling good, start at contentment and move up. It can only be an exercise in helping you to hold yourself in more consistent, good feeling vibrations, good feeling emotions. So just own where you are, like our first question said, own where you are. Not with humility, not with putting yourself down. Own where you are with owning where you are, with letting it be all right, and then move up.